LinkedIn is the biggest untapped opportunity for high ticket offer owners, and in this video I'm going to explain why. Let's not waste any time. Let's dive right in. First and foremost, we got to look at some proof points as to how and why this is even the case. You've got the likes of Alex Hormozi, over 800,000 followers on LinkedIn. We've got Tony Robbins, over 7 million followers on LinkedIn. We've even got the biggest YouTuber in the world, Jimmy Donaldson, aka Mr. Beast, recently transitioned to LinkedIn. And then you've got some of the biggest athletes on the planet like Steph Curry and even Tom Brady on the platform. You can see my own personal brand, 55,000 followers almost on LinkedIn. By the time you see this video, I'll be in excess of that. And it's all been done by a particular type of approach, which we're going to cover. You can see a post here from me, over 75,000 impressions. Another one here from me with over 1,000 likes. The platform is absolutely exploding. And just in the last year alone, I've had over 10 million impressions just on my personal brand. Over 1 million members reached, as you can see here on screen. This is a direct screenshot taken from my analytics tab on LinkedIn. So how and why has this become the case? Well, look, on LinkedIn, there's over 1.2 billion registered members. It is one of the biggest, most compelling platforms on the planet. But the crazy thing is, there's almost zero market saturation, especially within this info product space, the high ticket coaching space. It's absolutely crazy, yet it has the most purchasing power. There was some really interesting research done by Pew Research Center, as you can see here. Now, look at these stats. 53% of individuals on LinkedIn earn over $100,000. 34% of those earn between $70,000 and $99,999. And then 87% of LinkedIn members earn over $70,000. Now, let's compare that to Instagram, where Social Pilot did a study where they came to find that 83% of Instagram users earn less than $70,000 per year. That means far less buying power. And so when you think about in your mind, why do I have, when I'm on these conversations, prospects who can't afford my solution? I'm constantly getting objections. I'm constantly getting friction. This is a big part of the reason why they don't have the capital. Let's ask ourselves, well, what are the big names actually doing to explode their brand, to generate leads, and actually to increase revenue? Because we look at posts like this from Alex Hormozi, almost 3,000 likes, hundreds of comments, over 100 reposts. Look at Tony Robbins, almost 2,000 engagements from that particular post there. I mean, these types of posts can get hundreds of thousands of impressions, huge for reach. And again, mention on my personal brand, over 10 million impressions just in the last year alone. And if you converted just 0.1% of the members that I have personally reached just in this last year, that would be 1,067 sales of whatever your product or offering is, just if you converted 0.1% of the people that I had reached. Or 1% of those people would be 10,677 people that you would have reached. I mean, it's pretty unbelievable when you think about that. LinkedIn is ultimately your new unfair advantage. And I've been able to be proof of that, having been in the space for several years now and grown a personal brand to over 55,000 members, grown and scaled that rapidly to have that level of reach. This is the new unfair advantage that you can take advantage of. And I'm going to walk you through specifically how you can go about doing that. Now, the brutal truth here is that you are invisible where it matters most. You're invisible where all of the buyers and the main concoction of decision-making power actually congregates, because LinkedIn is home to 65 million decision makers. This is based on a study that was done by Cognizant. They found that members on LinkedIn possess 2 times the buying power than the average web audience. And the number of users on LinkedIn is expected to grow by over 22% between 2024 and 2028. The platform is still growing aggressively, even though it's got over 1 billion members on the platform. In reality, the best time to build your brand authority on LinkedIn was yesterday, and the second best time is today. It's a good thing that you're here. Now, you might be asking yourself, well, why should I invest my time and energy into LinkedIn when I'm busy with Instagram and other social platforms as well? I actually just asked a question into one of the AI platforms. In this case, it was Grok. I said, why do most people visit Instagram? And it said, these are the main reasons: for social connection, content discovery, self-expression, entertainment, inspiration and trends, and shopping and brands. Most people are on that platform because basically they want to be entertained. Maybe they want to do a little bit of shopping for the latest and greatest product and just to have a look around. That's the main reason people are on the platform. So then I said, well, why do most people visit LinkedIn? And look at the reasons. It says networking, job opportunities, personal branding, industry updates, learning and development, and business growth. People are on the platform because they want to network. They're looking for job opportunities and they want to grow their business. They want to invest. This is the key. People are on LinkedIn for fundamentally different reasons. They're here for actual growth. They're not just doom scrolling, trying to get the next dopamine hit. And that's a complete difference to what you expect from all of the other platforms. So what this really means is that every single second you spend on a platform outside of LinkedIn, it just means that you're leaving money on the table. What I want to do is get into the Influx content system that combines AI and basic pictures to then explode your brand on LinkedIn in the same way that I was able to, as well as some of the other creators that we've spoken about so far. The first pillar that I'm going to walk you through is what we call impact cards. Now, there are 3 pillars to the Influx content system: impact cards, thought leadership posts, and repurposed video. We'll cover all of those areas, starting with impact cards first. So what are they? They're exactly what you can see on screen here. You can see this example from Alex Hormozy, where he says people demand success but refuse to work weekends. People want opportunity but won't talk to strangers. People claim ambition but sleep in every day. We are the result of our actions, not our aspirations. You can see the type of post that it is, and then you can see one from me on the right-hand side. Now, Alex Hormozy there got over 5,000 likes on that post, over 500 comments, and several hundred reposts. You can see on the example from me, over 500 likes, almost 50 reposts as well. You can see that they have such high potential for virality. But the question is, well, why? And now the 3 main reasons is that images tend to perform better on LinkedIn. That's one. They're relatable statements. When you say them in some way, you feel like your mind can connect with them. And so they have high virality potential with all of that said. The question now becomes, well, how do you create your own versions of these? And I promise you this video will be tactical. All I need you to do is go over to Google and type free tweet style generator, and it'll bring up some options for you, with the top one being TweetGen. If you go over to that site, you'll see that it gives you the ability to literally create a tweet style post in the same way that you just saw from myself and Alex Hormozy. You can change the background, you can change the style, you can then attach your profile picture, enter your name, your X handle, and then of course the actual content that you're going to want to put. Now you might be thinking, well, Alex, what do I even write here? Don't worry about that. We're going to cover that as we go through the video. But literally within 60 seconds, you can create an impact card. Very, very quick, you can get to the outcome. So all you need to do is visit LinkedIn, click on the button where it says add media, write in a caption for the post, and then once you add the media, which is the actual image of the tweet style post, you can then post it and you can immediately get to work. You want to keep your caption short, concise, to the point, and relevant. And then voila, you've got your first impact card actually live on the platform. Now, the second pillar of the Influx content system is thought leadership posts. Examples of those you can see on screen here. Now, here are 3 larger creators. You got Danko, Alex Hormozy, as we've been speaking about, and Andy Elliott, all of whom have spent a lot of time and investment growing their brands on LinkedIn. You can see tons of engagement on each of these posts, but let's actually understand what these are all about. Fundamentally, they're really stories. They're micro stories that help to elicit some kind of emotion. What the real crux of what they're designed to do is to add value, to provide actionable wisdom, and to create forward momentum. And when I say forward momentum, what they're trying to do is to basically leave you in a better place than you were before you read the post. They're driven to actually create some kind of action from you that helps to move you forward. Now, to create your own, think about this through the lens of stories, through the lens of experiences and lessons that you've learned. People ultimately appreciate vulnerability, they appreciate truth, and someone who's got a compelling point of view, right? And here are 5 post structures that you can implement immediately to help you to create your own thought leadership posts. The first one is the mistake post. This is, I used to believe X and then I learned Y. Or you've got the framework post, which is, here's my 3-step process to achieve X outcome. The other one is the contrarian post, which does very well, which is everyone says X, but here's why Y is better. And then you've got the story post, which is last week a client told me. And then you've got the list post, 5 things I wish I knew about X topic. All of these can work very, very well. They're all underpinned by stories, experiences, and lessons learned. Give one or multiple of these formats a try and see how you get on. Now, I want to actually show you an example here by Iman Gadzi of how he was able to leverage the contrarian approach combined with his experiences and a compelling point of view. On this story here in particular, you can see he starts off the post by saying, here's the thing, I'm not against advertising. So he's taken a very clear stance and perspective. You never want to sit on the fence. You either want to be clearly on one side or the other. He's talking about the organic versus paid debate, paid media basically to scale versus organic. He's showing his position immediately. He's going to create a divide with his audience. Then you can see as this goes on, he's basically telling a story through the lens of his experiences. You can see where it's got the arrow and it says experiences. He says, my Stripe notifications would still be aggressively pinging. It creates that relatability factor. And then where it says compelling POV, which is compelling point of view, the arrow at the bottom, it says organic is greater than paid. In Iman's perspective, he's basically saying he believes organic growth is better than paid growth, which is a great thing because what we're talking about right here is organically growing through the LinkedIn platform. But you can see how he leverages each of the angles that we've spoken about, the contrarian post style through the lens of stories and experiences and taking a compelling point of view. You can then see this post has over 700 likes, it's got over 100 comments, and it's one of the most successful posts that Iman had particularly done. Great example here. Now, let's move on to the third pillar of the Influx content system, which is repurpose video. Now, this is much more if you're a creator who's had some success on Instagram or YouTube, or you've got some existing content that you can repurpose. But even if you don't have any existing content, I've got something for you that allows you to still make use of this particular type of approach. When we say repurpose content, what you can literally see here is an example by Stephen Bartlett and Tony Robbins, where you can see what they've in essence done is taken content that they've leveraged on their Instagram or other social media platforms, and then they've repurposed it to be effective for their LinkedIn profiles. What they've literally done is change the caption. Sometimes they change the music, sometimes they change the style a little bit, but fundamentally it's the same video and it's the same content. So the point is here, if you already have content, make use of it through LinkedIn by either reinventing the caption, changing the subtitle style, or changing the background music, because you've already got the content. Why not make best use of it? The other approach to doing this is a creator called Matt Gray. Now, what he's done here is you can see that he's got a YouTube video, which is I'm 35. If you're in your 30s or 40s, then watch this. Then what he's done is he's converted that same YouTube video that he already has, and he's converted it into a text-based post here, certainly in the first half, on his LinkedIn profile. You can see he's literally said, I'm 35, and then he goes through his various ages and the lessons he's learned. He's been able to basically repurpose that video, turn it into a text-based post, still drive value for his audience, but he's basically not had to do really any other work because he already did the work for the YouTube video. This is the whole point of repurposing for LinkedIn. Now, how do you create your own? I told you this would be very, very tactical. So I need you to go over to Google, literally type in download YouTube video transcript free, and you'll get several different options that will come up, all that you can use for free. Then visit your favorite AI engine, whether it's ChatGPT, Grok, Gemini, or another one. You then attach your video transcript that you've just downloaded based on the site that you just went to. Paste in the following prompt as a starting point, which says ingest this YouTube video transcript, then turn it into a LinkedIn post designed to maximize engagement on the platform. See the output and then edit and adjust the output to match your particular tone and your particular style. Doesn't need to be perfect, but it gives you a starting point and you can then refine it to make it better. After 30 days, you can then basically create an AI version of you. And the first step in doing this is take the 5 to 10 best performing posts that you've had in that period, paste them into ChatGPT or your favorite AI engine, and then say, analyze my writing style, then write future posts in this exact tone, structure, and voice, then test that output and refine it until it sounds like you. You're basically taking the top performers, taking the DNA of those top performing posts, and then continuing to refine them until basically to allow you to replicate success while being able to do it very quickly because you're leveraging AI to speed up your time to result. Now, the next thing that we're going to talk about here is your posting schedule to really maximize the engagement that you're going to have on the LinkedIn platform. When should you post? Now, the best 3 windows to look at is early morning, between 8 a.m. and 10 a.m. in the morning, between lunch breaks between 12 and 1 p.m., and the end of the workday between 5 p.m. and 7 p.m. Now, these are not exact rules. There's so many different variations to this based on your offer, the demographic that you're going after, your audience, and so many other nuances. Take this as general guidance, but not exact because it depends depends again on your offer and your market and your audience and a number of other nuances. But generally, these principles work well. Early morning, because people are either traveling to work or they're just getting ready for work, or maybe they've just sat down, they've got a coffee, they're looking at their laptop and they're just easing their way into the day. A lot of people spend time on LinkedIn as like the first thing they do once they actually start working, just to get a bit of a grip of what's going on. Lunch breaks are great as well. Of course, someone sitting down, having a little bit of food, they jump onto LinkedIn, see what's going on. That works well. And the end of the workday, either imagine someone's on the train, they're heading home, or if they're at home, they've just wrapped up their workday and now they're just taking a quick look at what's been going on amongst their peers, what's happening in the markets, etc. It's a time that a lot of people go and spend on LinkedIn. Align these to your time zone, consider the nuances of your offer, but these do work really well as general guidelines. Now, the next thing that we need to talk about is how often you should actually post. Now, there's a few principles that we need to talk about here. Now, the first thing is that consistency is far more important than volume. And I can't emphasize this enough. If you were going to do one post every single week, but consistently, versus trying to do 3 posts every day and they're just trash, I'd rather that you do the 1 post per week, and it's the best thing in the world, high quality, and it's fantastic, something that people actually want to see and tune into. You'll get much better yield from that than just dumping a load of crap on the platform every single day. Believe me, you'll stay stuck. But the fastest way to grow is high quality posts with volume. That is the best way to grow. And think about it through this lens. 1 high quality post per week is better than 1 poor post every single day. But the greatest way to go about it is if you have up to 3 high quality posts every single day. That is really the greatest blend between volume and quality in my experience. You do want to build your way up to that though. Don't speed run your way to it. When I first started off on LinkedIn, I was posting once a week. Then I moved up to 3 times a week. And then I moved up to 5 times a week. And then it continued to evolve. And now I'm between 2 and 3 posts per day. That is the ultimate formula, but it takes time because you have to test, you have to amass data. If you worked with an agency like us, of course, here at Influx, we know and understand exactly what goes viral. And so it's very different in our case because we can take a client, we know what exactly needs to happen. We can speed run them to 2 or 3 posts per day. But if you're just starting out and trying to figure this out for yourself, then you need to take more time with it. You've got to figure out what your recipe is going to be. You need to collect data and you need to be patient. Don't rush it. You need to take a little bit of time. I can't emphasize that enough. Now, let's talk about some engagement strategies to help you to grow and scale as quickly as possible, but in a responsible manner. Here are some of the engagement milestones I want you to have in mind. There's 2 main ones on LinkedIn. The first one is the first 5 minutes after you post. This sets the stage for a winning post. And then the second is within the first 60 minutes. And this basically validates if you actually have a winning post or not. Let's first of all talk about the first 5 minutes. What's basically happening is once you set a post out on LinkedIn, the algorithm is trying to figure out, is this something worthy? Is this a high quality post? Should we be spreading this out and sharing it with more and more people? Or should we just toss this to the side because it's fundamentally not actually of value to the platform? This is the moment where we need to take action. And I'm going to walk you through what that looks like in a moment. Now, the second pillar is within the first 60 minutes. And what's happening is if your post is showing the right signs and the right DNA, LinkedIn is going to continue to push it out incrementally over that first hour to actually validate. And that basically lets you know from a validation standpoint if you've got a winning post. This is where you want to be reviewing the post and keeping an eye on it within that first hour to give you data to know if you're onto a winner, basically. Now, that begs the question, what are your primary engagement levers to actually make the most of both of those windows? And it's 3 main things. It's likes, comments, and reposts. And what you want to optimize for is as you go through that first 5 minutes, you want to optimize for as many likes as possible. So here are some engagement tactics that you need to have in mind, especially within that first 5 minutes. Now, what you want to do is secure as many likes as you possibly can within that first window. Whether you need to get your friends, family members, colleagues, business partners, whoever, to like the post within the first 5 minutes. This will help to send a signal to the algorithm to say, hey, this is a post of value. This is something that we need to continue to push out. Now, the more pages that engage with your post within that time that have brand authority, the more LinkedIn will push out your posts. That's really the main benefit of what we do here at Influx as an agency, because we have a media engine that is highly powered with pages that have driven over 100 million impressions. When we engage with content, LinkedIn says, oh my goodness, this must be extremely valuable. Let me continue to push it out. If you haven't already booked a call to learn and understand more about how we do it here at Influx, I'll make sure that there's a link in the description box of this video below that you can do that. Only if you are an agency owner or a coach doing at least $20,000 per month. If you're not, then you wouldn't qualify. But if you've already booked a call, great. If you haven't, I'll make sure that you can, and I'll leave a link in the description box below to do that if you really want to speed run your time to result. Now, the second thing that you want to do is to secure as many comments and reposts as possible within the first 60 minutes. You imagine first 5 minutes, you're getting as many likes as you can. Now, from that 5th minute to that 60th minute, you want to get comments that are, of course, realistic, comments from real people. And even if you're getting a bit of support from people in your network, make sure that they're valuable comments, not just, hey, thumbs up and just silly things like that. Actual meaningful comments that send a signal to the algorithm of, hey, this is valuable content. Same thing with reposts as well. And then the third thing is, make sure you reply to every comment that's received within that 60 minutes, because LinkedIn will then show on the post the total amount of comments. If you got 3 comments from other people and then you reply to the 3, on the LinkedIn post, it will show as 6 comments. So this helps, 1, send a signal for more reach, but 2, as other people see your post, it helps them know and see, oh, actually, this is something I should look at. People are like sheep. If they see there's 6 people that have engaged, it makes it come across like it's going to be a post that someone should actually pay attention to. Take advantage of these types of things within that window. Now, what I want to show you here is a couple of tactical things to consider. This is Chris Donnelly, someone who's very successful on LinkedIn. Now, what I want you to look at here is some of the principles that you should have in mind, right? Now, the first thing is, if you can see here where it says off-platform CTA with the red arrow, this is something that I don't want you to do. This is where you can see a link and a URL which will take someone off platform. Now, when you're just starting out on LinkedIn, this is something that you actually want to avoid. And the reason you want to avoid this is because when you take someone off platform, on average, you'll get 20 to 25% less reach on that particular post, because of course, LinkedIn doesn't want you taking people off platform. Someone like Chris Donnelly can do this because he's already got a massive following. He can kind of take that hit to grow his newsletter, and that's okay for him. But for you just starting out, avoid doing that. Now, something that you do want to do though, is where you can see the green arrow, it's an on-platform CTA, which means an on-platform call to action. In this case, it's a repost to your network. You can see Chris is basically saying, hey, can you repost this to your network? This will help him to get more reach, because each person that reposts, it then posts it to that person's network, helping them to then get more reach and establish more growth fundamentally. That is something that you do want to do, and I do encourage you to do, because that's fundamentally going to help you to grow faster. Now, here's another bonus tactic that I want to give you as well. This is someone called Sean, who actually did a post specifically about me where he saw a quote from me and then he tagged me. He called me out in the post. Now, the benefit of doing this is because I'll then see that, I'll likely like it, comment, and potentially repost Sean's post, which gives him more reach, right? And you can see what you could do here as a tactic or a strategy is you can create a post based around an existing creator with a big profile, compliment them, talk about them, share some thought leadership that you've seen from them, do something like what Sean has done. Now, if that creator sees your post and they like it, comment, or repost on it, you get an immediate boost because it's a much bigger page with more authority that is then engaged with you. That will help to really speed run your journey of growth. And then that will ultimately help you to grow much more aggressively, because it sends a signal to LinkedIn's algorithm of, hey, Sean's post here, Alex Elena's now liked it. Alex has over 50,000 followers. This means the content is probably good. Let me push it out a little bit more. You could do this for Alex Hormozi. You could do it for me. You could do it for someone else, just to help you to get a head start. And it creates a net benefit. It's a great bonus strategy for you there. Now, the next thing that we're going to talk about is optimizing your profile, something that's so important. We're going to start with talking about what not to do, and then I'll walk you through what you do need to do to maximize your opportunity for success on LinkedIn. First of all, here's what not to do. This is an example profile I saw here, and I put my hand in my head and I said, definitely don't be like this person. First of all, they have no profile picture. You can't see them. You can't relate to them in any kind of way. The next thing is, you can see just under where their name is, it says various business skills. The headline doesn't tell you what they do. There's no clarity around who they are, what they do. How can you even engage with them when you've got no clue what they actually do? The next thing is, next to her name, Natasha Lawless, she's just got randomly protected protector. I mean, what does that even mean? It tells us absolutely nothing. It's two random words that just shouldn't be there. Then next to where they've got their experience, there's no pictures next to their work experience. Everything just looks blank. It looks like a desert island. People are not going to trust a page like this. And then the banner at the top, I mean, what is that? Is it a scarf? Is it a textile? Is it a rug? It's just completely unclear. Everything's just an absolute mess. And this does not encourage someone to feel that this is someone they should trust, that has authority, that this is someone that should be counted on in any way. You would just avoid this. Now, look at her then about section. Again, it's terrible. It's no better. It's just completely random. It's just got a load of nothingness on it. And I mean, Natasha, if you are watching this video, I apologize, but please take this as constructive feedback, because I would love to see you do better. And I want everyone in this video to do better. So on that note, let's look at a great example, which is my profile. And this was my profile when I was a sales leader. You can just see an example of some of the things that really stand out here. The first is a professional profile picture, right? In a good setting, got a nice smile, and that helps to just encourage someone to feel warmed and endeared to the profile. I've then got a verified badge, which you can see next to my name. I highly recommend you do this just by putting your ID against your LinkedIn profile. It helps your profile to look more trusted. I then specifically call out what I did at that time, which is being a global sales leader. It states it clear as day. If you work for a company, list your company and your role. Be clear about what you do or who you help. Basically, let people know. Literally, what do you do? Who do you help? That's it. And you're good to go there. Look at the banner then across the top. It says literally who I am and what I do. Sales leader, building and scaling top 0.1% revenue teams. That's what I did at that time. Made it super clear for anyone coming on. And then there was a link to my website. And for the companies I was associated with and my university, you can see images of those. Again, it just creates an impression that should be trusted and counted on. Same thing when it came to my about section at that particular time. It clearly states who I am, what I do. It's got my contact details. It's simple, it's succinct. The format is really easy to read, and it just makes life easy. This is exactly how it should be. Again, this was before I founded Influx. I wanted you to see an example of how you could approach this for yourself. But now that I'm at Influx on my LinkedIn profile, things are different, but the principles are exactly the same. Take a look at my LinkedIn profile now and you'll see how the principles stay the same. You just want it to be clear, effective, and concise. Now, some bonus things to consider as it relates to your profile is make sure that you complete your profile end to end. Fill out the experiences sections, fill out your education section, and then there's sections like volunteering, skills, and recommendations. Now, they're not mandatory, but they absolutely don't hurt. If I were you, I would just carve out an hour of your day and just get all of this done. Fill out your experiences, fill out your education section, fill out your volunteering skills recommendation. Just do it, because once it's done, you take 1 hour to just get all of this done. You never have to do it again. You don't have to look back at it again. You just update it every so often, but you don't really have to change it very often. It's like a one-time time investment that will pay dividends for you over time. This builds trust, it builds authority, and it will just support anything that you're going to do on the LinkedIn platform over time. Just carve out an hour. Don't be lazy. Get it done, and it will pay you over the test of time. Now, something that I do want to touch on here is that you're likely here because you're a busy business owner. You value your time, you value speed, efficiency, and most importantly, you actually value results and the time to those results. What this video has given you is a completely end-to-end breakdown for you to do this yourself. Now, these 10 hours per week are really going to consist of you creating your content ideas, producing the content yourself, scheduling that content, monitoring its process and progress, and then testing, refining, and iterating on it. But I will say that if you are an offer owner making at least $20,000 per month and you'd value reclaiming that time and all of those things that I just touched on, then we can absolutely help you. Because here at Influx, what we provide is a completely done for you service to explode your brand on LinkedIn within 90 days, completely guaranteed. And what we take care of then is creating the content ideas, producing the content itself, scheduling all of the content, monitoring its process and progress, testing, refining, and iterating on it. We do all of that completely done for you. You don't need to lift a finger. Everything is taken care of. And this is the exact same process that took my brand in the last year to over 10 million impressions and over 1 million members on LinkedIn reach. Imagine what that means for you in terms of sales, in terms of revenue, in terms of reach, and your brand authority as well. Now, the results mean a new revenue stream for you, more qualified inbound leads, more partnerships, better candidates to hire to grow and scale the business, and most importantly, reclaim time that you can distribute on other needle-moving activities within your business. Now, if you don't then have at least 1 million impressions based on the work that we do for you on LinkedIn within 90 days, you pay absolutely nothing. And that's the level of certainty that we have around our ability to get you to that result. Now, if you're interested in this and you haven't already scheduled a call with us, I'm going to leave a link in the description box below of this video where you'll be able to go onto a landing page where you can then schedule some time to speak to myself or a member of our team to learn more about exactly what it's going to take to completely explode your brand and to drive all of the results that we've covered in the last couple of minutes here. Go and check out the link that I've left in the description box below. This is if you haven't already scheduled a call with us or a member of our team. And I look forward to having a conversation to talk to you about how we can get you to millions of impressions and most importantly, add a completely new revenue stream to your business, completely done for you. So I look forward to seeing you on the other side.